Yo, let's jump right into this. You know what I'm saying? All right, I just wanted to make this video for y'all, same way, to explain how I caught this trade right here and how it's still running. Well, I'm not in the trade anymore. I got out, of course, right here, but you know, the shit is all the way up here right now. So I'm just gonna break down the setup that I took, and this setup normally gives us this kind of trade right here. Like, I don't know that was gonna happen, but as you can see, if I did hold my position, like this shit would have all the way ran up like 1 to 16 risk reward ratio. So let's just get right into this. When I'm trading, I'm targeting liquidity or fair value gaps or imbalances. That's my main little area to target most of the time. Of course, it's a level of importance, area of interest, but I just try to keep it simple. I focus on my supply and demands, which is, the order block is the highest point or the lowest point after the order block is created, breaking structure, and so on and so forth. You have a supply, you have your demands, right? So I'm normally taking my trades from my order blocks or my supply and demand. Like, that's normally how I just follow the move. So let me just erase this whole setup and act like I'm coming to the market fresh, right, in the morning times, right? So this is fresh. Erase this. Everything is fresh. Coming into the market New York session, right? I'm accounting for what happens on the left. I'm always gonna account for what happens on the left, and this is 8:15 in the morning, so this would be a good scenario, right? If I'm trading and I see prices on a downtrend and I'm looking for buys, I can't just buy from one of these lows. I need price to break structure on one of these, these highs in order for me to be interested in buys, because once we do get the BOS, break a structure, we have our order block that is created at the lowest point, right? So I'm basically waiting for price to come back and tap me in to my trade setup more times for me to take the buy, right? Because that allows me to have a great risk to reward behind it. Once we get to this area, I'm expecting price not to break this low, because if we do break this low, I know that we are in a bearish trend again. So I would want price to take me out the trade. So I would take this trade here and leave my stops roughly under these lows, targeting these highs for the first take profit. This will be my main take profit, but this will also be a level of resistance, if you get what I'm saying, right? But we overall know that we're bullish above this level. So, and breaking to this upside is already showing me that there's more buyers are stepping into the market. We broke structure to the upside. That's just giving me a perfect setup, right? That's how I look at these. So let me just go on the chart now. This morning, I accounted for the fact that Asian created some form of a high and it also created a low, right? So let's just say Asian lows, Asian highs. I could use this for example because I'm looking at it from, okay, these highs got ran liquidity wise, and price decided to break structure to the downside. So price kept going, boom, boom. Now, why did price buy? I look to the left, I could see like, okay, in the past, we did break structure to the upside over here. So maybe this will be respected as the demand zone, right? So as we coming in, price taps into this demand zone, and I could see price starts breaking up to the upside. So all I did was really wait for, I waited for price to break this structure, because if we're on a downtrend, we ran these highs, so we swept Asian lows. We kept, sweeping more lows to the left. Now, this was my last high to this low. So really, I'm just waiting for price to break this high, right? And as you see, once price took this high, Let me make the screen a little bigger. Once price took this high, right? I'm expecting price now to come back to my order block, right? And this is, what time frame is this? This is the 15-minute time frame. This whole candlestick would be my order block, right? But instead of me taking this trade using this, I just go to a lower time frame to refine it. And why do I do such a thing? Is because if I'm taking this trade as soon as it taps this level, right? Since this is my order block, I would want my stops at the low, and then I will be targeting, back at some highs, or I will be looking for liquidity, which, like, this is a nice level. You can see we have a couple wicks, just a bunch of liquidity resting above this level. So this is a great level that I will be targeting. This is how I came into the market thinking. But back to why I wouldn't like taking this trade setup and why I modify my order blocks to a lower time frame order block is just because with this one, this is giving me a 1 to 5, right? And this stop loss is pretty huge. This is 58 points. I don't really like taking such a big trade like this. And it's not to say this will be wrong, because it's just what I'm willing to risk on this setup. And it doesn't make sense for me to have such a big stop loss, right? But if let's say I had stuff to do and I don't think that I will be able to catch the modified version of this order block at a lower point, then yeah, I would take this trade, set a limit here. Stops would have to be at the lows of my order block, because how I'm looking at the scenario is that if price comes back to this low, we're back bearish, right? Because we're bullish at this point, breaking structure to the upside, right? So I'll let this play out. And before it plays out, we're not taking this trade. I'm going to modify this order block, all right? So if I go to a 5-minute time frame, I can see that we also have a 5-minute order block, right? And everything within this 5-minute right here, this candlestick, is bias, right? So let's say I took that trade setup. Let me just move this one over. And let's say I took this trade setup, targeting these highs. Now this is giving me a 1 to 3, which is a decent trade setup for me. Like, I like to take trades that's giving me more than a 1 to 3 mainly, but I will target a 1 to 2 sometimes, depending on the trade setup. That's, I trade what I see. So I could want a 1 to 20, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna get the 1 to 20 most of the time, right? But this trade setup would have been giving me a 1 to 3, right? Now I like to use the lowest point of the order block. Now, if this is the 5-minute order block, I also can use the wick of it, which would be modified to this, right? So now this trade setup will be giving me a better risk to reward. And this is just kind of why I like to trade this way. Like, none of these are wrong. None of these entries would be wrong, but more times price would give you this first one and still end up coming as low as my entry. So it's kind of like me just saving myself a headache, right? And so we put 18, and I really used 20 points on this trade. Gave it just a little bit of breathing room and targeted the highs. So this trade setup is giving me a 1 to 6, and it actually was a 1 to 7 when I was in this trade. So there we go, 1 to 7, and that is a perfect trade setup for me. I like the risk to reward is perfect. It's great. Like, maybe I took a few losses. Now this fixes, my loss and give me the profit that I needed, right? So I'll let this play out. Cause this is the stop loss. I mean, the order block that I used. I didn't use this one. I used the 5-minute, which is the low of the 15, just like this. And as price taps me in, you see exactly what happened. Literally. All right. And I took it to this high just because, like, I'm looking for where is liquidity resting, right? Where is liquidity resting? So in my trade setup, liquidity to me, there was enough evidence that even if I didn't use this wick and I just focused on this area, I could see like we was getting 3 taps, 3 rejections. Nonetheless, that's money resting above that level that I know price wants to go and take. right? So this is normally how I get my trades. Every day is the same thing, and with this beautiful trade setup, if I decided to leave a runner at this point, let's say we put out trade to break even, we already hit our take profit, and we left a runner. Let's just see. Boom, price decided to keep running after, right? Look at this. So I hope this helps. My main thing is if we're on a downtrend, I'm looking for price to tap into maybe a previous order block from the past. I want price to break structure, right, to the previous high, showing that we are back bullish. Once we do break structure, we have an order block created. I would like price to come back, tap me in. Then I'm targeting a place that there's a lot of liquidity resting because, you know, the markets are going to attack people's money. They're going to go take your money. They want to take my money. So a place of a fair value gap, the imbalance, avoid, and same way, this place of liquidity was my exit out this trade. So I am not in this trade. This was a beautiful trade for me, and I took my piece right here. But I hope this helps. And I hope everybody had a blessed day today, man. Like today was just kind of clean, everything about it. Nothing was random. Everything played out how it was supposed to. Right, to take profit. Everybody stay blessed, man.